Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members who are in attendance, and those that are joining us remotely. As you know, we've talked about updating our sanitation policies for several months now to accommodate a transition to automated collection. We wanted to take this opportunity to provide a brief presentation to highlight the significant ordinance changes that we are proposing tonight. So first, why are we doing this? Obviously, it is to prepare for automated collection, and as you know, that's using the one-arm trucks. That is as important now as ever, given the circumstances that we're all dealing with and trying to minimize exposure to our employees and minimize contact with potentially infected household goods and trash. So the quicker we can transition to automated collection, the sooner we can take our employees out of that line of fire, so to speak. We also need to establish conditions for refuse collection, including bulk collection, yard debris, white goods, and dumpster rental. Several of these things over the years have not been addressed in the ordinance. Let's face it, that sanitation chapter hasn't been updated very frequently since the late 70s, so now's the time to do that. Part of that move to automation and something that needs to be addressed is standardizing our carts. If you drive up and down our city streets now, you see that we don't have a standard cart that we require. You may have garbage or refuse placed in a rollout container. You may have it in a Rubbermaid bin. It may not be in a collection container at all. So we need to take this opportunity to standardize our carts, clarify ordinance violations. Now there's a lot of gray area on what a violation actually is and how to enforce that, and also to update our fee schedule to reflect those updated levels of service that we're providing. Okay, the first thing we want to present is just a brief update of the definition section. The current ordinance has a lengthy definition section that spends a lot of text on commercial handbills, newspaper, and non-commercial handbills. We really don't use that language to describe junk mail anymore, so we wanted to strike that. A couple of the updates that we are proposing, we want to define building material, which is not a typical item that we do collect. Define bulk pickup, which is beyond what would fit in a rollout container. Also clarify what items are recyclables and add some more clarity to yard waste. We also want to provide a definition for a rollout container, and then include our roll-off dumpster definition, which is not currently in the ordinance. Okay, at this point I want to go over a couple of sections and list the significant changes that we are proposing. In section 17.2 through 17.5, this is where we're updating the collection schedule verbiage, the billing procedures, as well as suspension of service for non-payment. We also provide a private service option for non-residential customers. We do have commercial and industrial users in the city that have private dumpsters provided by private contractors. We still have provisions for that in the updated ordinance. Also, believe it or not, the current ordinance does not have any prohibition of burying or burning garbage, and we certainly want to state that that's prohibited. And also something that's not captured in the current ordinance that we want to update is our provisions for special pickup. And what that is serving residents who have disabilities that prevent them from getting the garbage cart to the right-of-way where we can access it. We currently require a doctor's note, but that's not written in any of our policies. So we want to include that now and be sure that we have the written documentation to back up continuing to provide that service. Okay, in section 1721, this is a fairly comprehensive update. This is where we really set the guidelines for collection frequency and those conditions. Obviously, no loose trash. States that we, as sanitation employees, will not enter into buildings to collect trash. One recent addition, and this is something that's been added over the last several weeks as we've worked through this ordinance revision. No discarding of household goods from homes with highly infectious diseases, and this is just in an attempt to limit exposure to contagious diseases. Also, unfortunately, with the opioid epidemic that we continue to experience, hypodermic needles are something that we encounter quite frequently. We've addressed that with an update. And then we've clarified how we service the downtown properties. They're currently on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday collection schedule, although that was not specified in the current ordinance, so we want to continue providing that for our central business district or the downtown customers. So we wanted to add that. Also, a major change, we want to move toward a bulk pickup by appointment only.
What is that? What does bulk pickup mean? If I've got like a bunch of carpet, or I just renovated my house and I got just a bunch of trash that's bagged and properly done, then I would call you guys and say, I've got a big load, guys.
Yes, that's correct.
And then would I be, you probably get into this, is there going to be a charge for that?
We're proposing to offer one bulk collection at each customer or each residence per month. Beyond that, charges may be incurred.
Got it.
That's generous.
Per month is very generous.
We'll start there. And we have some areas where bulk pickup is regular each week, and then others that don't take advantage of the service.
Right.
Okay, section 22, and this is some of the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the change to automation and standardizing our carts. With the proposal, we are requiring customers to place all refuse in a cart that the city will provide. And this section explains what those carts are, how we will provide them, places a number on the carts of carts that will be provided based on the customer type. For residential uses, you will be provided one cart with the option to increase your carts up to a total of 3. Now, additional carts will incur additional fees. For our commercial and industrial customers, they'll be provided 2 carts with options to increase that to 6 total. We have some businesses here in the downtown district primarily, and this is what was on my mind. With these customers, they don't have access to dumpsters. So they rely on rollout carts, and they do generate trash based on the nature of their business. So I wanted to give them options for 2 to 6 carts depending on need. We also state that the city will provide maintenance for wear and tear on the carts. If you've watched automated collection, it's not necessarily the easiest and calmest process. It can be described as violent. You know, the arm snatches the can, dumps it, and sets it back down. So the carts do incur some wear and tear, lids, wheels, cart bodies, etc. And we're offering to provide maintenance to those for our customers free of charge. Also, another key element that we want to include, this establishes a time limit for the cart to be placed in the right-of-way. We're starting at 24 hours after collection. We expect all carts to be moved from the right-of-way and back at the residence or the business within 24 hours. Another common topic that we deal with and want to address, we want to make some clarifications for our yard waste. Currently, we don't have any real size limitations on the brush that we collect. We do specify the size of the brush, 4-inch in diameter and 6 feet in length, but beyond that, pile size is something that we want to address. This proposed ordinance includes pile size limitations of 6 by 6 by 5. Anything beyond that would incur fees. So if you have 30 by 6 by 5 pile, you'll get the first 6 by 6 by 5 pile for free. Beyond that, each 6 by 6 by 5 pile will incur a $25 charge. Also, the existing rollouts that are in the city that we have been selling to customers for a number of years, we don't want customers to not be able to use those, so we're stating that they may be used for yard debris. This leaves out of leaf collection season, grass clippings, etc. We ask that customers put those in that existing green container that's out there unbagged. We would much rather be able to use our tippers on the existing rear loading trucks that we have to dump that cart on our brush or yard debris collection day, as opposed to handling bags, because there are variances in tipping fees between yard debris and standard household garbage. And if we take the yard debris to our brush dumping site, it can't be bagged anyway. So the best solution is to put it unbagged in that existing yard waste container.
Is a yard waste container the same as because I've never used the yard waste container. Mm-hmm. Is it the same as the regular trash can? Or is it bigger?
Same size, yeah, they're 95 to 96 gallon.
Okay, all right. I've never used that before, so I didn't know. That one, I just didn't know. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
What he's talking about is using the ones we have now.
Using the ones we have now.
Yeah,
Our
the one is,
regular
the
garbage
one your regular
cans.
garbage can, the green
Use
one that you
those
have.
as your.
I don't have a green one.
Well, okay.
Sell you one.
So you'll get a green one. You'll have.
So
But will
will
the
I get?
machine pick those up?
Yeah, not the automated machine.
Okay.
It'll certainly pick those up, but we want to save those for household trash.
Gotcha.
Our current fleet of trucks will pick those up.
Gotcha.
So if I don't have a green,
There you go, okay.
if I don't have a green thing, I don't know what that is because I've never had one. And I've lived in several.
What do you
houses.
use, just regular garbage cans?
I got a toter can from Lowe's. I bought on my own.
Okay.
Those are my own private use.
On wheels.
On wheels, yeah. I told her that's great.
Then you can use that for household.
You can use that for his,
Yard.
If our truck will service that can, yes. If our tipper on the back of the truck will not pick your can up, then no, you'll be required to have a green
does.
can.
Those guys can go. It dumps
Okay.
it.
And
So
we're
those are
encouraging,
for yard.
excuse me?
That'll be for yard.
Yes.
Just for yard.
Yes, and we're encouraging folks that have those green cans to definitely use them for yard waste. Again, we don't want them to be cast aside, go to waste, think they have to get rid of that can or it's just taking up space. It's definitely usable, but we want to also encourage folks to use that in lieu of placing bags. Matter of fact, we don't want to pick up yard waste because oftentimes yard waste is much heavier
Yeah.
than standard trash.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
So when it's bagged, if it gets rained on, if it gets UV exposure, the bag deteriorates, and before you know it, you have a pile of grass or wet leaves in the road that then we have to service.
Okay.
And the last point will be, we're just clarifying our loose leaf collection season. It is and will remain October 15th through January 15th, and of course, that fluctuates a little bit based on when the leaves actually fall and how much rain we get during that season.
Okay, so a question on leaves. I just moved here, let's pretend, and it's outside of leaf season, and the house that I bought has not been touched over the leaf season. Do you want me to bag those leaves?
No, put
You
them
want
in the yard debris container and crunch them down in there.
Over a period of a few weeks.
Put 'em in
If I
one.
have one.
And in that case, call and schedule a bulk pickup.
Right, that's what
Right.
I'm saying. That right there. Okay, call it, because I think that is critical. I mean, I think it's a great service to
Right.
be able to have, even if I have to pay for it. That is
Sure.
well worth it.
Right. And what we're trying to avoid are misuses of the system and
Yes.
bulk collection. You know, what we experience now, every week is bulk
Yes.
pickup week at some stops.
Yes.
And we want to discourage that. Still provide the service, but do it within reason.
I understand. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, the following sections, there were just some brief updates that we provided. Code enforcement, of course, we want to outline the policies for enforcing violations or identifying and then enforcing violations of the ordinance. Section 1725 just simply states that if a contractor produces the waste, we will not pick that up. And that's home building, renovations, landscaping, cutting trees, et cetera. And we practice that now, but we want to have it written.
Good. That's good.
We have updated our white good collection policy. Currently, we pick up white goods free of charge, and these are your standard appliances, excluding microwaves. We're going to continue to pick up white goods, but there is going to be a fee associated with that. We do have a scale for one item. We're offering $25 for each additional item at the same stop, $15 for each additional item. And, you know, providing this service free of charge now, we're left holding the bag on a lot of things. So we just want to address that moving forward.
Does this appear in your water bill? Or how does this?
Yes, it'll be billed with utilities.
Okay.
Something that we've never had in the ordinance that is a very popular service we offer is the roll-off dumpster rental policy.
How many of those do we have?
We have 5.
Okay.
We have 5 roll-off 20-yard or 20 cubic yard containers, and there is usually a wait list to get one of those.
Wow.
So we just want to clarify those policies, include rental fees, timeframes, what can and can't go in the dumpster. We've also clarified the materials that we do not collect. Most of you here in attendance and not here listening remotely, you know what we won't collect. We won't collect building material, tires, fluorescent bulbs, wet paint. Just wanted to cite that. Excuse me? Batteries, right. But we're also encouraging recycling of those materials. You know, you can certainly recycle batteries, light bulbs, electronics at our recycling center. So
We still
encourage.
do that at
Yes.
the recycling center on Penton Avenue.
Yes, and we considered including the location in the ordinance, but if we ever add another facility or change locations, I didn't want to have to go through another ordinance amendment,
I
so.
understand.
And also, section 1729, it does update our ordinance violation fees. Currently, it's $10, which are rarely, if ever, enforced. Now, we're proposing a first violation fee of $50. For chronic offenders, we have a sliding scale that goes to 100 for the second offense, 150 for the third offense, and that's within a 90-day period. Something that comes to mind, you have folks that like to leave their garbage can on the sidewalk, and instead of pulling it back to the house, carrying a bag out and dropping it in, but the can stays on the sidewalk. Well, with our can or cart placement limitations that we're establishing, and then the sliding or chronic violator language that we've included in this ordinance, we hope to address situations like that, among others.
Now, assuming someone's on vacation or something like that, needing to coordinate or just kind of talk through that, because it could be, I'm gone for a week,
Right,
but not in violation.
sure.
You hit on something right there. So is the city going to mark off on the curbside or something, an area for the,
Yes.
okay.
We're
And if you covered
coordinating.
that, I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, I haven't discussed it now. It's something that we're having internal conversations about, and conversations with the COG folks that are conducting the study, the transition study, and the cart supplier. When those carts are distributed, they're going to be placed in the spot that they're expected to be for collection. Those will be marked. There's going to be educational material affixed to the cart, so when the homeowner collects his cart that first time, there's flyers, there's brochures included with that, and then we're going to rely on our information director, Mr. Harris, to push out information via social media too.
That's a great idea.
got a question. Go ahead, Mike.
You said something earlier about the collection schedule.
Yes, sir.
With this new procedure with the new rollouts and everything, will the collection schedules change?
We're anticipating around 100 customers changing, but considering we have 8,700 in the city, that's as good as we could expect. So by and large, no, the collection day will not change, but we will have a few instances where that does change.
Okay. And also, you mentioned something about the handicap and the elderly.
Yes, sir.
What procedures put in place to identify the disabled and the handicap?
Usually we're contacted by the property owner or a representative of that property owner, and we simply require a doctor's note to verify that there is a condition present that prevents them from getting the cart there. And after that's internally reviewed, we will assign them a special collection.
Oh, okay. So the handicap will be signed a special place, did you say?
Usually that involves our staff going onto a carport or onto a sidewalk nearby.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Essentially permission for us to enter private property to retrieve that can.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Got another question for you. Go ahead. Is that John?
Telling you.
Yeah, that's me, Jonathan Beal. Mr. Wright,
Yes, sir.
the bulk pickup that you mentioned, is that going to take the place of our annual trash bash? Are we going to continue that particular type of pickup?
The bulk pickup that we're proposing will take the place of trash bash.
Okay, so, and then also,
That's fine. We should
with
do it all
the
year.
white goods
Once a
pickup
month.
that we're talking about, I imagine that we typically recycle that material. And when that material is recycled, the proceeds from that recycling, does it go into a different line item in our budget?
It's very little, I'm sure.
It's very little, and it typically goes back to the general fund. However, most of the recycling that we incur is paid out to the fees that the folks we contract out with to actually collect the items.
So is it even a wash? We lose money recycling.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And the losing the trash bash, in my opinion, is not really that big of a deal because
It's
now
a win.
it's year round.
It's a
Yeah.
Right. I just need to call and it's gone, which
You get
to
one
me
fine.
is fantastic.
So you can get rid of your items whenever you need to,
That's right.
rather than wait until the
Yeah, right.
trash bash week,
Yes.
which will not have any longer.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
I do
Every week
too.
is turned into trash bags.
Yeah.
That both, that gonna happen.
Okay, I want to highlight the updates to the fee schedule.
Trash
The
bags.
solid waste fee currently is proposed to remain $10 per month. Additional carts will be $5 per month per cart, and for residential uses, that's 1 to 3 carts. For commercial or industrial users, that's 2 to 6 carts. Bulk pickup, we are offering the 1 free bulk collection at each customer per month. Additional bulk pickups with $25 each. For white goods, $25 for 1 item, $15 for each additional item at the same address. Yard waste, here are those dimensions on the brush piles, 6 by 6 by 5, free, $25 for each specified dimension beyond 6 by 6 by 5. And then fines, as I mentioned, 50 for a general fine, 50, 100, 150 for chronic violators.
The additional cart, this is if I want a second cart at my resident, as a residential cart, correct? That's what
Correct.
that means? Can I just buy it straight out rather than paying $5 a month?
You're going to continue to be assessed the $5 a month.
Even if I purchase my own, I'm still gonna have to be charged $5 a month?
Yeah, and what it is to offset additional tipping fees from you generating more trash. It's a
Got it.
cost that we're continually incurring, so it's a cost that we're passing on to the customer that's generating more trash.
It's not just to cover the cost of the cart itself?
Right.
Understood.
Service.
And Jared, is there any, is there a limit, like if you have to have space to have it a second, or is that not?
Yes, carts have to be placed 5 feet of clear space all around, and that's from additional carts, mailboxes, landscaping, and all of that will be in the educational material when it goes out.
Jared, I got it. There are certain times a year where people generate more trash than others, like Christmas. And so you can imagine if, depending on when Christmas falls, your container's full in a day or two. So now people just put it all at the street. How do you handle those odd situations? They just need to call for a special pickup?
Call for a bulk
Okay.
collection.
Thank you.
And the folks that know around Thanksgiving and Christmas, they're going to have family over and they're going to generate a lot of trash. Maybe they save their 1 bulk collection per month until after those holidays.
Okay. Makes sense.
I think that's a great question. I think it's just getting educated and knowing how the
Correct.
system works.
Right.
To where you know, I got 1 a month. I know how to do this. Learning all that stuff, I think the informational piece going out to the public is gonna be critical.
This is one of the instances where we could do a video, a 5-minute video to kind of go over the basics
Yep.
and have
Right.
that available. And
Yes.
That'd be good.
We have definitely considered video.
Yeah, we most definitely need to do that to educate everybody.
Yeah,
Not, we're gonna get hit with all
Yeah,
kind of
questions and.
questions
phone's gonna
about it.
blow
And
up.
we fully expect that anyway, but we're going to do
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
we can on the front end
But
to
I mean,
answer several.
this is great. I think this is a great improvement.
Okay, and the
And
last.
it's good for our staff,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, he may say this later, but, I mean, this is not something Lenore's doing unique to Lenore. We've polled other cities of similar size around the area and around the state, and a lot of folks that moved here are used to these type of systems in Hickory or Boone or Morganton or wherever. So you can see in your packet, there's some fees and charges there that our rates are very competitive and probably better than most of those you see in the packet. So just want to pass that along and share as well.
Thank you. Okay, just a quick update on schedule and where we are in the process. We expect deliveries of the new carts to begin May 4th through the 11th, and that's we've given ourselves a 1-week window to start receiving carts, and they will, when we get shipments, they will be distributed, and we're working with the cart supplier to nail down those dates. But as of a conference call yesterday, that's where we are.
Will the supplier be delivering those, or will
Yes.
that be our job?
The supplier will distribute those as well.
Excellent.
To each home.
And one of the attractive things about working with this supplier is they can scan a barcode and marry that can to that physical address and then provide us that database so we know exactly where every can is supposed to be. May 11th through the 18th, we expect to begin running the automated collection in our pilot areas, which is the Monday route. May through June, we're going to continue, hopefully on 2-week intervals, adding additional days routes. And then we're shooting for full implementation and working out any remaining kinks by July 1.
I didn't know I could get so excited about picking up trash.
This is great.
And that's it.
Gonna be fun to watch, isn't it?
Any other questions, I'll be happy to answer if I can.
Anybody have any questions of Jared? here on the council, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Have already been addressed, but with all of this information, and I think we have talked about this in the past, a lot of people don't know how to get up on our website or follow what the city is doing. What plans do you have to address this to people that don't have the privy to internet or that kind of information? How do we get the information out to them about the schedules and the containers and the fees and all of that?
We've considered a couple of options for areas that will require special can placement that's going to be more difficult to achieve. We're going to go door to door and distribute that information. Also, when the new carts are delivered, there's going to be an information packet hanging on that cart with FAQs, cart placement guidance, schedules, anything that we feel like could come up. We're going to have printed material distributed when that cart's distributed to the address.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jared, you're doing a great job. You and your staff. This is good.
Got a great plan put together. Thank you for all the work on
And
it.
we're all excited about it.
Yeah.
We're all excited about it.
Can't wait for this.
Good trash talk.
That's right. Talk trash anytime.
Anyone else have any questions for Jared while he's here? Yes, sir, John.
No, Ralph.
Oh, Ralph, I'm sorry.
Right. Jared, back to the uptown tenants. You've got a multi-tenant building. Is that, how are you gonna handle that for uptown tenants?
We'll have a specific cart for each tenant.
What about, think about things like, Service League, who probably has no room for a cart? Or an upstairs tenant, what does upstairs tenant do with the cart?
In those special instances, and we hope there's not a lot of those that we encounter, we'll have to work with the property owner to determine what works best, a storage location or an alternative, and that will require some face-to-face meeting time with that tenant.
Can they go in the back, so maybe behind the building? I mean, if there's an open area for
When they're
that?
doing it now, they gotta be doing it now.
It depends on the building.
You gotta, I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to address. Okay. That's fine. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But what we found is that it's unique again here, but it's been done before other places. It's just trial and error, and as Ben said, education and time will take care of most of these things.
Well, like anything, there's going to be issues we have to deal with and figure out as we go. So
There'll be some hiccups. but-
good to know that we can start thinking about that right now. Okay, any other questions? We are in the public hearing. Anyone else who would like to address, talk about anything, council or whatever? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing and turn it over to council for action concerning this Code of Ordinances, Section 17, amending the Code of Ordinances for that.
I'm going to ask John, news topic. Do you have any questions?
If he's still there.
If you're still.
Good, thank you.
Okay, he's good.
He's good? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the amendment of the ordinance as presented.
Okay. Have a motion from Councilmember Stevens to accept the change in the Code of Ordinances as presented to us, amending the Code of Ordinances for Section 17.
Call roll.
Yeah, we'll call the roll on that. All right, then we'll go, you want to vote
Individually or?
That's fine.
individually? Okay. All here in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. On, all those on video? Council members? Aye. Aye. Ralph? John? Okay. Thank you.
Got it.
Good. Thank you for that. All that is unanimous vote on that. We appreciate that, Jared, and what you're doing with it. Thank you very much.